Okay, Nina Funnell is the main person behind this End Rape on Campus. Obviously, I'm public enemy number one for her. I am doing a lot of damage because I've been out on campuses calling out her lies, calling out the fact that we don't have a rape crisis on our campuses, that our universities are complicit in promoting the fact that our universities are unsafe for young women. Why are they doing that? I mean, this is just craziness. And it's because they're too embarrassed, too pussy-whipped, too lily-livered to stand up to women like Nina Funnell, this tiny group of activists who are making a fuss. What is wrong with these people running our universities?
It's very difficult to stand out and talk against people because they do exactly what you just
They do.
said. They try and target you and discredit you.
Yeah, and so they've been doing... Anyway, Funnell has printed 9 articles in the last 2 years attacking me. Again and again, she's used carefully edited extracts from that interview with Bester. And she got a whole segment on 60 Minutes attacking me where they used tiny segments of the video showing me, chatting to him, being friendly to him. And then they put all sorts of stuff around it to make me look like, an apologist for pederasts and so on. And then she's had another go because she at that time when that first all came out, my video first came out, she then started a campaign to allow the victim in that case to speak out, let her speak. And there was regulations in Tasmania saying victims of sexual abuse are not allowed to be named and not allowed to be heard. And she was determined to change that. Arguably, because it enabled her, I mean, obviously she would have there's a good argument that sex victims should be allowed to do that, that's fine. But of course the law changed, the victim was allowed to speak out just a few weeks ago, and it gave her a whole new avenue to start attacking me. So she got my video shown on the 7:30 report on the ABC the other day. She wrote half a dozen articles this week naming me, one ludicrous article saying that this girl's family wants to meet me to show how I've damaged them, all this stuff. And it's all deliberately aimed to really damage my reputation. And I'm about to put all this information on my website because there's nothing more I can do than put the facts out there and let people judge for themselves.
What is your website?
Just Bettina, if they Google my name, Bettina Arndt, they'll find it. BettinaArndt.com.au. So I'm going to put... So Funnell has been having a go at me for years and years and years. You remember when that poor Latrobe girl was murdered,
yes,
raped and murdered? Funnell wrote an article in the Saturday paper suggesting, linking my tour of... I'm doing this tour of campuses, speaking out about the fake rape crisis, linking that to the murder of this girl. And included all sorts of erroneous statistics, misrepresentations of what I'm doing. And I wrote a Facebook post saying, please report. I think this is outrageous. She's linking me to the murder of this girl. She wasn't even murdered, of course. It was after, she happened to be a student, but she was killed by a homeless man.
Yes.
It was a real tragedy that had nothing to do with campus rape. And yet she, put the two together and defamed me, in my view. I wrote a Facebook post saying, report her to the Press Council, and luckily my loyal followers seem to have done that. She then sent me a defamation case over the Facebook post where I said, call her, I want you to report the lies she's spreading about me. So she went to a female law firm who sent this defamation case, and I got Tony Morris. Tony Morris? Tony Morris is this great barrister in Queensland who defended those kids who are before the Human Rights Commission over the fight over the Indigenous computer lab.
Okay.
It was a few years ago where some University of Queensland students wanted to use a computer lab, then discovered it was reserved for Indigenous students.
Okay.
And they made a couple of comments. They were taken before the Human Rights Commission on the basis of racism. And Tony Morris is a famous barrister who defended them successfully. And he very kindly offered to help with this particular defamation action. And he wrote this wonderful letter back to the law firm saying, bring it on. We would like nothing better than to end up in court with Nina Funnell's lies about me being exposed. And they've seemed to have disappeared, which was the next round. But now she's using the Bester case against me again. And I'm speaking next month at UNSW in Sydney on my next stop in my campus tour. And we've seen on social media that End Rape on Campus has more dirt that they're proposing to release prior to that event. I mean, this is a deliberate campaign to damage me as much as possible because I'm having some success in my campus tour, and that really undermines what they're doing.
It really confuses me that there's so many people, like they grab these groups, and perhaps with the lack of religion in younger people, which, you know, I'm not religious, but with the lack of religion, they want to grab on to a certain tribe. And for a lot of people, their tribe is End Rape or whatever cause or advocacy group or activist group they're after. They grab onto that, and that's now their life. That's what they get behind.
Yeah.
But how these people can somehow get so much information, the same information that we get, and two people can have completely different ways of interpreting that information. I see on campuses, I'm doing a show in Canberra coming up, and a lady wrote a blog about how they're going to protest the show because I'm a racist, I'm a sexist, I'm homophobic, all these outlandish statements, which if you took 5 minutes to meet me, you go, oh, this guy he's not a horrible piece of shit, he's just some dude. Like, that's just the way it is. But that's how they attack people.
That's why they attack. I mean, when I started my campus tour, you know, they had all these posters, racist, sexist, conservative. I mean, how can anyone call me conservative, really? I mean, I've spent my life promoting sex, promoting all sorts of things that some people regard as outrageous. You know, I watch your fantastic video on pornography.
Like and subscribe.
Which I totally agree with. I mean, all sorts of things that conservatives would regard as really suspect. I've always believed in, and you know, but as you say, they just add the labels together and do anything they can to throw mud at you.
Well, if you disagree with them on their sort of side of things, if you're not a feminist, if you're not a Black Lives Matters movement member, if you're not one of these people that moves with, if you voted for Trump, if you thought that Trump's doing okay, if you think any of those type of things, you're a conservative, you're a bad person, you're a racist.
Yeah,
that's the label they give people. Like, even with me. Like, I support gay people getting married. I want people to be able to smoke weed if they want to do that. I want people to do anything they want to do as long as it's not harming anybody else.
Yep.
That's the big thing with me.